Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. Just wanted to return to you for this special premiere video for the new Day to Remember record for Big Ol' Album Volume 1 album review that I got a chance to listen to for the past week and a half or so. I downloaded it, I believe, February 19th, I believe. It was a little after the Make It Make Sense and LeBron singles came out the day before, so I downloaded the record like February 19th, if I remember correctly. So I've listened to it for a few weeks actually, and I know the record for streaming services comes out March 21st, but this premiere video is for March 20th at midnight. So I hope you guys will enjoy this premiere video when it drops. And with that being said, I'm going to discuss what I listened to for the 12 songs on this record and let you know my thoughts on Big Ol' Album Volume 1 by Day to Remember. So let's dive into this album review. Now it starts with Make It Make Sense. This song was a grower, for sure. I actually do dig it now. It's a pretty good song. Um, Problem with it is some of the chanting and some of the way it sounds overall. A little quirky for the beginning with how Jeremy McKinnon sings it and all that. The intro part is kind of a little cheesy, but it's not terrible. But it's a good song in its own way. So I'd give this a 4.5 out of 5 for this track. Um, as the third or fourth single for the record, I don't necessarily hate it. I just think it has its little issues with how it's produced and all that some of the time. And execution wise, it pulled it off in its own way. So the next track is Feedback, the second song on the record. It's a disappointing one, unfortunately. I tried to think I was gonna get used to this track, but after listening to it multiple times while listening to the record, it hasn't grown on me. It's a little corny and cheesy, and a little cringy too, with how it sounds and the way that Jeremy McKinnon comes off when singing the song. It's just like, okay, they're coming up with like childish lyrics, so it's one of those songs you gotta understand that it's has good drumming and good guitar work, but the problem is taking it face value. This track, you can't enjoy this song for how it is. The if I want your feedback, I'll let you know, motherfucker. It's like, okay, at least it's better than some of the other stuff from You're Welcome, but it's not good. So 2.75 out of 5 for feedback. Bad Blood is actually a pretty good song in its own way. It's grown on me. It's not one of the best, but it is a pretty good song in its own way. I'd give this a 4.75 out of 5. The chorus is pretty catchy. And overall, the lyrics at the beginning, let's skip the small talk. You already know I got no poker face and I don't like you. But lucky for me, it's just a matter of taste. Lyrics, it's like, lyrics are a little cheesy at the beginning. But when you listen to the rest of the song, it gets better as you progress through it. So it's a grower for sure. So 4.75 out of 5 for Bad Blood. Then you have the next track, All My Friends, which is kind of a bar drinking song. It's like, okay, this one's kind of on the fence with me. It's not terrible, but it's not the best thing I've listened to. So I'd give this a 3.75 out of 5. I thought this one was gonna grow on me. It's got a upbeat melody, but it's just I can't take this. I can't enjoy it too much because of the way the song comes off and the way it's presented. It just sounds a little cheesy. The all shit, here we go again, another night out here with all my friends lyrics. It's like, okay, it's just cheesy as hell. So 3.75 out of 5. To the Death is one of my favorite tracks. I mean, Personally, it's not one of the personal favorites, but it is a strong track in its own way. But I do dig it for how it sounds. It's got some good breakdowns, good day to remember breakdowns that you can personally enjoy, and overall, To the Death is not that bad of a track. Um, the ending where it says "fuck you," it's like okay. So there's some good scream moments from Jeremy McKinnon, and his vocals in the chorus are pretty strong. Um, you push me over the edge. Does anyone like you? Or nothing like you, or something like that. Or something like that. I can't remember some of the lyrics. I have to go back and listen to this a few more times. I've listened to this record like 5 to 10 times, and I think I'm ready for the review now. So I'm like, okay, let's just get it premiered. So basically, 4.75 out of 5 for To the Death. Flowers is a pretty catchy track. It starts off with a nice melody, and then the chorus is the main highlight to the song, and the drumming is pretty strong. The intro to the track, where it just the song, it's pretty interesting. So basically, I think Flowers is a strong track for how it sounds. It is probably one of my favorite songs on the record. It's a highlight for the record. So I'd give this a 4.75 out of 5. LeBron is the next track, which was a single, and another strong track too, in its own way. It's good, but it's not one of the best that I've heard, so I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. The lyrics come off a little cheesy, but hey, it's Day to Remember. You gotta personally, uh, they're growers. These songs are growers, basically. It takes quite a bit of listens to grow on you. So 4.5 out of 5. Then Die For Me is a above decent track. It does have some auto-tune vocals after the chorus kicks in and finishes the first chorus and second chorus. So it's kind of cheesy with the me thing with the lyrics. It comes off a little cringy and cheesy, but the song is a little repetitious and relies on the chorus a bit too much. But it's not terrible, so 4.25 out of 5. Miracle is one of the best tracks on the record, one of the 3 best songs on the record. So I'd give this a 5 out of 5 still. It's still my personal favorite single when it dropped in 2022, and I'm glad they put this on the record. It is worthy to be on this record because it was such a great single. Jeremy McKinnon's regular vocals in the chorus are really strong. He definitely shines in the chorus. And just execution wise, this track pulled it off for what it was going for. The breakdowns are great in the bridge part of the track. I really love the breakdowns in Miracle. It's got an extended breakdown closer to the final chorus of the song, so definitely enjoyable track. 5 out of 5. Same Team is a pretty good song in its own way. It's not one of my personal favorites, but it's pretty strong. And overall, I think Same Team does have some lyrics that and chanting vocals in the background, choir chanting vocals that I don't know if I can get behind on, but it's not bad for what it sounds like. So 4.75 out of 5. Still a strong track in its own way. Silence is a personal favorite track for sure. I think when you get to the end of the record, that's where it comes off very strong with some of the song choices. So basically, Silence is a strong track. The guttural screams and the death growl screams and the pretty much the chorus, destroy your cornerstone, tear out the heart of those. Silence will no longer suffice. It's pretty strong lyrics, and there was another lyric before Silence will no longer suffice. It is a strong track for sure. I really love this track, so 5 out of 5. It's got great screaming vocals from Jeremy McKinnon, and drumming-wise, it's pretty good. It starts off melodic for the beginning and the second verse, but it comes off really heavy when that chorus kicks in. And finally, we get to Closer Than You Think, the closing track, which is the best closing track for the record, in my opinion. It took a lot of time to grow on me, but this track has grown on me quite a lot. It's a personal favorite, along with Miracle and Silence. So these are probably my personal favorite tracks to end the record. Same Team's a strong one too, so the ending to the record is the highlight for the record. So pretty much I'd give this a 5 out of 5 for Closer Than You Think. The lyrics are pretty strong, and just the way Jeremy McKinnon sings it, it's pretty good for how it sounds. So 5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, I think Day to Remember Big Ol' Album Volume 1, well, it's a decent record. I'll tell you that, but it's not one of the best Day to Remember albums, but it's an improvement for them being with Fueled by Ramen. Even though Fueled by Ramen are kind of, I don't know, they just started sucking when they went with Fueled by Ramen. That's the most disappointing aspect. When they did You're Welcome, it was not a good record at all. This one I was having my doubts about because of Feedback, Make It Make Sense, LeBron. I thought they were cringy tracks at first, but as time went on, and as I listened to it a lot more for this record since February 19th, I gotta say, this is a decent record. It's a little bit of an improvement from You're Welcome. You're Welcome wasn't that great at all. This, I would say, is a decent record. It takes time to grow on you. It takes quite a bit of time. But if I were to give it a fair score, I think right now a 7 out of 10. It's a decent record. It's not one of the worst things. I've already purchased this record on CD. I don't necessarily hate this record. I just think Feedback was the least favorite. All My Friends is probably a grower, but it's not one of the best songs. But as time goes on, I think it could grow on me, but it's just a bar drinking song, so if you know what you're getting yourself into with Day to Remember for this next album, then you know there's going to be a few cringy songs. But they do have a good ending to the record. It has a good ending. The basic premise of this record is for them to have fun with this album. I think they're going to make a Volume 2, of course. Volume 2. But for now, I just think Day to Remember pulled it off in their own way. But I still think this album played it a little safe with some of the tracks. And 7 out of 10 is deserving for this record. Because I just feel that there's not a lot of great material, but it's still got some strong material with certain songs. Like Closer Than You Think is my favorite. Silence is strong. Miracle is strong. Same Team is a pretty strong track. LeBron is a solid track. And then you have Flowers to the Death. Make It Make Sense is a solid one too, and Bad Blood. The other two tracks are kind of weak in their own way. All My Friends is probably the second weakest song, but the first weakest track is Feedback. That was probably the very least favorite on the record. But overall, I think Day to Remember pulled off a decent record this time around. Not the worst, not the best, but it's fairly decent and okay to decent in its own way. Not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and some people might think this is the worst Day to Remember record. It has some good tracks on it, but there are a few disappointments on this record that I don't think a lot of critics are going to get behind on. But other than that, Day to Remember Big Ol' Album Volume 1 is getting a 7 out of 10 for me. And with that being said, thanks for watching this lengthy video for this premiere video, and I'll see you guys in my next review.